Hello Gemini, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess, here to do your reading for October. If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I am so humbled by the response. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you on board. If my readings don't resonate with you, you can check out other aspects of your natal chart, such as your moon, rising or ascendant, and your Venus. Sometimes none of them will resonate, and that's okay. They may next time round. Okay, this is actually the second time I've tried to do this reading. What was I going to say? The cards I'm using are Ciro Marchetti's Gilded Tarot. And here's your reading. Okay, so card out. First card out is the Three of Wands. Now, it's funny because when I tried doing your reading before, you had the Two of Wands, so somehow you made a little bit of an advancement in that time, which is pretty awesome. Okay, Gemini, you have the Three of Wands here. Now, the Three of Wands talks about moving forward, talks about waiting for your ships to come in. So it very often means you've done the work, you've taken your path, you've done what you needed to do, and now you're waiting for a return on that. So this is where you are at the moment, waiting for these ships to come in. So I'm not sure if it's going to be, a big theme for the month of October, but certainly being it's come up in the general energies, it's a good chance it is. Okay, so first off we have the Seven of Wands. Now the Seven of Wands talks about being defensive. It talks about sticking up for yourself, really. So I don't know what the energy of this coming into October means for you, but there's some need here for you to be able to put boundaries in place and stick up for yourself. It's also about becoming defensive about things. So, sometimes we get a little defensive if someone's sort of come at us at the wrong angles. So we'll see how that unfolds. Okay. You've obviously become very guarded because you've been carrying a lot of responsibility around for a while. Now, there are three cards here that are all wands. So it feels to me, Gemini, like October will be a very passionate, determined time for you. And certainly a time in your life when you're going to be pushed into sorting things out. I feel like you've carried a lot of responsibility, whether this is in your work or your private life, and you're ready to put this down. This is the Ten of Wands, so it usually talks about being at the end of a cycle. And this poor man, look, he can barely move anymore. He's got so much weight on his back. I know also that there's a moon here, so it may be that something needs to be uncovered or unhidden for him to understand he can put these responsibilities down. He's had enough. So with this seven of Wands here and the Three of Wands at the beginning, it feels like an energy of, being able to leave responsibilities of the past behind. I feel like you've had to put boundaries up and be a little defensive about something that's going on in your life because you want to move forward. So you've already put in your, your requests and your visualizations, your manifestations for the future. And now you're just to the point now where you want to move forward and just let these responsibilities go. Yeah. So when we have a look at the Four of Pentacles here, it talks about hanging on to things. So maybe in the past, something has happened where you've really hung on to, either it could be about money. So maybe you've had a lot of problems, issues about money, and now you're moving forward and waiting for things to happen differently. But certainly this Four of Pentacles always gives the energy of people hanging on to, past energies as well. So whatever this is, it's almost like you want to just clean all this stuff out of your life and move on. It's like it's just become too much for you to bear, whether that's at work or has a very strong career feel here. But, sometimes the reading unfolds a different way. But at the moment, what it's saying to me is that you've had an awful lot of responsibility and you're now getting sick of it. You're ready to move forward, and you've had to now become very outspoken and very straightforward about what it is you want. I don't think from looking at this you've been really good with that before. Okay, the next card out is the Hermit. Well, that would make sense. So what's happening here is you may be waiting for your ships to come in, but you may have taken time out to understand what you want from those ships. Because if you're in this position now where you're deliberating on what you can put down and how you can be a little bit more guarded about how you're treated in the future, especially if you have been treated poorly in the past and taken on a lot of responsibility. It would make sense now that you would be willing to take time out to understand what it is you truly want. Because I feel like here there's an awful feel of, I don't know whether it's been a used feeling, but it's certainly a feeling that perhaps you've taken off, you've bitten off far more than you can chew here, and you're really having so much trouble moving forward, and you just want to sort of put everything down and start again, have a clean slate. So for me, this hermit is about you going inside to see what it is you really want before you move forward. What do you want in those ships, Gemini? They're coming in for you, but what have you asked for? Okay, and then we have the card of the Seven of Swords. This is a pretty tough reading for you for October. I feel like a lot of you are shedding skin, like it's like you want to move forward and you're fed up with being trapped in the past. This card can talk about sneakiness. So it could have been that you've had some sneaky behaviour around you, or somebody's taken something, or, you know, there's a good chance here that you've been with someone who's used up all your resources, including your money and your wealth. So I feel like you just got out of something that's really drained you. You've really been drained of everything, and you've really had to stick up for yourself in this card here as well. So whether this is a job, relationship, or even a business, it's like you're just counting your losses and going. So I don't know what that means for you, but you'll need to take time out to have a look at that. But I feel like somebody's done this to you. You've been, you know, genuine and honest and taken someone on board, and someone's taken that for granted and ridden it a little bit. Okay, good news. So when you've asked for your ships to come in, you've obviously asked to be replenished somehow, because there's definitely money coming to you here, or stability, maybe more so than money. It could be money, of course, but there's definitely this feeling that you've got a new stable start here, which is very, very good. So you're on your way to getting what you need to have, and I feel like you've done this by going into hermit mode and starting to think about what it is you want in your life. And it looks like it's been pretty unstable up to this time. Okay, yeah, here we go. The Tower. I should have said before, I'm surprised the Tower's not here. Something's given you the realization that you can't exist in this place. You cannot stay where you are. You have to move forward. And this is why this Three of Wands has come up here. You're being pushed by the universe to move forward from something that's been very draining on you, and something that's been very difficult for you to manage. It definitely feels like it's work. But if it's a love life, there's no love here. Can I say that? If you've been in a relationship that's left you in this place, no love here at all. It's been a very cold situation that's left you feeling like, you know, someone's taken things away from you that, you know, they probably shouldn't have taken. There is definitely, you know, a light at the end of the tunnel here with this Ace of Pentacles, though I do like that. But the Tower often talks about the fact that you're being broken down to restart. So it's like what was in the past will never happen to you again in the future. You've learned, you've taken your lessons here in the Hermit. You've learned you can't take these things forward with you, and you need to start anew. And this is really good because it's giving you the opportunity now to put down foundations for your future. And I feel like it's gone, yeah, there you go. Beautiful. So what you're moving into now is an energy of wishes. So I would suggest to you, from looking at this reading, Gemini, that your hermit time here was very well used, because you've been able to understand your lessons and the things that have been such a burden for you in the past, and now you're able to move forward onto whatever you want or need because you've learned your lessons. I like that, because that we all have lessons to learn, and even when things are really bad, it's no point in us sulking and, you know, getting into victim mode about it. You've got to have a look at what is it I need to do to bring myself around so this doesn't happen to me again. And it looks like where you are, and then you get the Ten of Cups. So it could be that in the future there is new love coming in for you here, because you've progressed from the 9 to the 10, which is the Cup of Love. So what I'm thinking is, if you haven't had love in your life, or this isn't about a poor or tough relationship, there's definitely improvement going forward, because this sees you walking into a place where you are offered love. And it could be that you've just had a really tough life and you could have been on your own, and maybe you've been waiting for this to happen, and there is a promise in this card that it will come in the future. And yep, it could very well be. Now, the Gemini, this is the card of Gemini, Aquarius and Libra. So she's the Queen of Swords. She's learned to stick up for herself. She's a clever person. And not necessarily she either, but definitely a person who's taken control of her life. You know, she hasn't got the sword raised in anger. She's not ready to spit chips. She's not spiteful, but she knows what she wants and where she's going. So Gemini, I feel like this is the person you're becoming here. It's almost like you've put down all these burdens. You've allowed the universe to take apart what no longer served you, and now you are ready to move into this Queen of Swords, this, you know, much more confident, outspoken energy. So it's a lovely reading, but I dare say that you haven't had a tough time in the past, because there's an awful feeling here of carrying a lot of responsibility that maybe wasn't either yours to carry, or you've carried it for a long time and now it's time to let it go. Okay, and the card here, yeah, lovely. And that's the same card as what was talking about in the Tower. So it's death, a time of natural transition and transformation. And to me, you know, looking at this Tower here, this is what you've been able to do. I mean, the cards before the Tower have been pretty tough. The cards after the Tower are absolutely beautiful. So it's almost like you've allowed, or you've even progressed this Tower into your life to be able to change things around for you. Nice reading, Gemini. Thank you.